Okay, so question 6 on page 170. So this question is all about supply and demand for anyone who does economics, and all it kind of says is that if you think about this, when the price of a, let's say we have some kind of a product, when the price of a product changes, then the demand will change. So if the price goes up, the demand, the amount that people will want it, will go down. But if the price goes down, then the demand will go up. So then, because the demand changes, then the supply changes. Because the more people who want it, then the more supply that there will be, the more that the manufacturers will make it. And the less people that want it, then the less the manufacturers will make it. So it's called supply and demand from economics. And you're given these two equations. D stands for demand. So demand means how much the public want it, how much the people want it, and P stands for price, S stands for supply. So the demand and the supply are both, this is what these two equations say, that the demand and the supply are both based on the price. So that's what those two equations say there. So the first question just says we have to sketch those two lines. So these are two lines and we have to sketch them. So if you go back to the video I just did earlier about how to sketch lines, you'll see how to do that. So I need to find 2 points on this line. So I'm going to let, let's say P equals 0. So P equals 0. Then D is equal to 20 plus 0.2 times 0. So I get D is equal to 20. So when the price is 0, the demand is 20. So one of my points is going to be the point, well, 0, 20. Okay, or does it say to put, let me see, sketch both of these lines on the same. Yeah, it doesn't matter what I put on what axis. So there's 1 point that's on that. So then I'll let P equal to, let's say, choose values that are, kind of easy values to work with. So let's say P is equal to 10, then D is equal to 20 plus 0.2 times 10. So I get D is equal to 20 plus 0.2 times 10 is 2, so I get D is equal to 22. So another point that's on that line is the point P equals 10, so 10, 22. So I have 2 points that are on that line, this one here and this one here. So now I need to do the same thing for this over here. So let's say, again, P is equal to 0. So when P is equal to 0, then S is equal to minus 12 plus 0. So I guess minus 12 plus 0. So I get S is equal to minus 12. And then when P is equal to, let's say, I don't know, let's say 20. So you can choose anything, it doesn't make any difference. So I get S is equal to minus 12 plus 20. So I get S is equal to, minus 12 plus 20 is what? 8. So the point up here is the point 0 minus 12, and the point down here is the point 28. So now I have to sketch those two lines, just putting on those points. So this one for that line, and this one for that line. So let's say my highest on the y value is 22 minus 12. So I have to go between 22 and minus 12. And on the x-axis, 0, 10, 20, I have to go across the 20. So it's going to look, okay, something like this. So I have between, let me see, oh my god, I was just trying to think the best way to do this. Let's say, you can do this a little bit better than I did. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's say down here, minus 5, minus 10, minus 15. And on the x-axis, I'm going to go, so 0, 10, I have to go across to 20. So let's, may as well go across in 5s as well. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I think you should try maybe do this a little bit bigger. It'll work out better for you. Okay, so let's plot this line here first. So the point 0, 20. So 0, 20 is that point there. And then 10, 22. So out to 10, up to 22. So if you had a little bit more space, you could do this better than me. So that's that point there. So this line is going to go through those 2 points there like that. Okay, so that's the line D is equal to, so D equals 20 plus 0.2 P. Now I want to sketch this line, so the point 0 minus 12, so 0 minus 12 is there, and then 28, so out to 20, up to 8, which is about there. So this line is going to look like like that. So you have it like that. So on the x-axis I have price, P, and on the y-axis I put both. I put D and I put S. So this is demand, D, and supply, because we want to do both of them on the same axis. So you can see, look, what's going to happen if I continue those lines at some point over here. Like right at that point there, they're crossing over, and that's the point around about what, 35, 40, it's around about 40 or 45 or something like that. I can't kind of see accurately from my graph, but it's around about that. But that's how you sketch the graphs anyway. The second question then says, so it says the market reaches a state of equilibrium when the number demanded equals the number supplied. Find the equilibrium price and the number bought and sold in equilibrium. So market reaches a state of equilibrium when so even if you don't understand what this state of equilibrium is, it doesn't make any difference. It just says there is a whatever state of equilibrium when the number demanded, so when D, this is part 2, when D is equal to S. So when the number demanded equals the number supplied, find the equilibrium price. So we have to, what the question is saying is, find out what P is when D is equal to S. So we have these two equations. I know the equation for D is 20 plus 0.2p. I know the equation for S is minus 12 plus p. So I'm just going to set them equal to each other and find out what p is. So plus 0.2p equals minus 12 plus p. And now I solve that equation for p. So I go, okay, so I got 0.2p. I've got 20 and then minus 12. So that'll be 32 is equal to, I've got 1p plus 0.2p. So if I add 1p and 0.2p, I'll get 1.2p. I know that, actually I done it wrong. That's a plus 0.2p there, so it's going to be a minus over here, so that's going to actually be 0.8p. So I get that. So then if I divide, so to get p, it's going to be 32 divided by 0.8 will equal p. So 32 divided by 0.8 is 40. So 40 is equal to p. So what that is saying is when the price is equal to 40 euro, then we have this state of equilibrium where the number demanded is equal to, and all it means is that right at this point p, and you can see that from the graph up here actually, look, it's kind of coming down right at 40 when both of them are equal. So you can kind of see it from the graph. When you solve it using equations, you're really accurate. That's why when I drew the graph up here, I mentioned that, but I couldn't really say for definite that it was at 40 because it's a graph. So, but it kind of shows me that my graph is right because I got the same thing down here. So it's just saying when the demand is equal to the supply, we get this state of equilibrium. And at that state of equilibrium, then the price will be 40 euro. And the next part of the question just says, at that price of 40 euro, find the equilibrium price, which we have there, and then find the number bought and sold in equilibrium. So we have to find the number bought and the number sold. So we just have to fill in the value of p into these two equations here to find out the number bought and the number sold. So I'll let you do that bit yourself.